Hello there. Can I interest you in a nice cold Atari Light?
What's up, guys? So we recently purchased a Atari 2600 lot from an online estate sale. Let's go over what we've got here on our invoice and how much we paid for this. So you can see the description on here, and although they've got 3 vintage Atari video game systems listed, they didn't take into consideration the 2600 Junior that was in this lot. So there's actually 4. But we paid $50 for the auction, and then we had to pay a 10% buyer's premium of $5, which brought this total to $55. Okay, so here's what we purchased for $55 from the online estate sale. We're going to take a closer look at everything that came in this box. This is literally how we picked it up, with everything just laying in this thing. So let's take a look and see what all we got for our $55. Up first, we have the Atari 2600 Junior. Overall, this thing is in pretty decent shape. It's filthy as can be, but other than that, it don't look too bad. The metal on the top of here needs to be cleaned up, and there is one little dent at the top of the A. Outside of that, though, I think this thing will probably just need to be cleaned up pretty good. So this is the Atari 2600 Junior. Next, we have an Atari 2600 4-switch console. Overall, looks pretty good. Just, again, very filthy. So we'll need to clean this up and then test it out. Up next, we have an Atari Lite 6er. So this is the 6-switch version, and it don't look too bad. I mean, it's definitely, like everything else, very, very filthy, but it's got all the switches. I don't see any cracks in the plastic anywhere. It just needs a very thorough cleaning, and then I think this one will be okay. Up next is another Atari Lite 6er. Now you'll notice this one's a little different. The last one was one of the earlier versions where it had holes cut out into the plastic here underneath, and then they eventually went to this version that had just a solid panel of plastic, and then they went over to the 4-switch version after that. There's many different versions of this thing because they made it for so many years. Just like the others, it doesn't look too bad. It's just very filthy, and I think we'll be okay on it. We'll just need to clean it up. So this is, if you've counted so far, we've got 3 Atari 2600 systems and then 1 Atari 2600 Junior. So a total of 4 consoles. Now let's take a look at what else we got. We will start with the joysticks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got 10 traditional Atari joysticks, and then 2 of these. I don't know if these are any good or not. They look like a rip-off to the Atari joystick. It's got the setup on the end, the one button, but this is called a gem stick. I'll look these up. If they're not worth anything, I'll just pitch them probably. But we got 2 of these, so a total of 12 of these. Here we got this Atari stick stand. I've never seen one of these. Let me know in the comments if this is something that's common or not. But you just put your joystick in the top, and it, I guess, makes it a little easier to play. I don't know. But so this is one more joystick for to match with the other ones. It's just inside of this stand. So we've got a total for the joysticks of 11 traditional joysticks, 2 of the gym stick joysticks, and 1 stick stand. All right, next up we've got some Texas Instruments controllers. It's got the end on it like for an Atari, but I'm not 100% sure if these are just made by Texas Instruments for the 2600 or not. I'll have to look into that. But we've got, let's see. Okay, we've just got 1 set of these, and again, this is kind of like the Atari tennis paddles, where you've got 2 of them going into 1 plug-in. So we've got 1 set of the Texas Instrument joysticks. All right, next up, we've got some Atari paddles, and this is like the Texas Instruments we were looking at a moment ago, where you've got 2 into 1 connector. And for these, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got a total of 6 sets of the Atari tennis or sports paddles. These are the dual paddles. Up next, we've got some driving paddles. These look like kind of like the ones that are branded for the Sears telegames. So we've got 1 and 2 of these. So that's a total of 2 driving paddles. Up next, we've got a extension cable, or at least I believe that's what it is, for an Atari paddle or joystick. You see one end is a male end and the other is a female. This is made by Wico, W-I-C-O. I've never heard of this company, but this appears to be an extension cord. We've got 1 and 2 of these, so 2 Wico extension cords for the Atari joysticks. All right, next up we've got some power adapters. This is Atari. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this one here is a little different. This looks almost like it would have came from a computer or something instead of the game console itself. I'm not sure if this is the one that goes to the Atari Junior or what those look like. But since this is gray, I'm just wondering if this wasn't originally for a Atari computer instead of a home console. But this looks like it's 9-volt DC. So I don't know, we'll take a look at it. But we've got a total of 4 power packs or AC adapters for the Ataris. Up next, we've got some audio video cables. We've got this. Some more cables. Got one from Radio Shack here. This one actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. There's another. And coax cable. Okay, so these, I'm not really going to do much with these. I purchased the little adapters that goes onto the end of the RF cable that comes out of the Atari that you can just plug into the back of your TV, and it makes it so much easier and it looks a lot better. So I might just throw these in with the consoles, but I'm not considering getting any kind of money for these, and that would only be for that stuff. As far as these cables go, I don't really have any use for them, so we'll just pitch them. Last up in our box of goodies here, we've got something definitely different than the Ataris. We've got a Game Gear battery pack. I don't know what the value is on one of these things, but don't even know if it's going to work or not. But what we'll do on this is we will attempt to take it apart, clean it up, make sure that it looks like it might function anyways, and then see what we can get out of it. I don't know how common these are. Maybe yeah, rechargeable battery pack. I don't know, anyway, I don't know much about these, but I'm sure there's some kind of a market for it since it is Sega. So we got one Sega Game Gear rechargeable battery pack. And one more thing I just found in the box here. We've got a Atari owner's manual. So this looks like this is for the 4-switch version. Okay. The power supply that we've got, it looks like actually may have came from this one with the big logo that it's got. So anyhow, we'll include this with that console whenever we go to sell it. You don't see very many of these things around. But we got one Atari 2600 owner's manual. All right, you guys, so here you have it. Here's everything that we just went through, which includes 3 Atari 2600s, 1 Atari 2600 Junior, 11 original Atari joysticks, 2 Gymstick Atari joysticks, 1 joystick stand, 1 Texas Instruments dual joysticks, 6 Atari dual sports paddles, 2 Atari driving paddles, 2 Wiko extension cords for Atari joysticks, 4 Atari AC adapters, 1 Sega Game Gear rechargeable battery pack, and 1 Atari 2600 owner's manual for the 4-switch Atari 2600. All in all, we paid $55 total for everything you see here. I think we've did pretty good with this lot, and we should be able, if we can get the consoles working, we should be able to sell each one of these for around at least 40 to 50 bucks. My guess is maybe around 60 or 70 for each console if we can get them working. The controllers and stuff aren't worth a whole lot by themselves, so what I might do is put one dual driving paddle, 1 joystick, or maybe 2 joysticks with each console to make it a set whenever we sell them, and then whatever's left over, sell those. The Game Gear rechargeable battery pack, I don't know what that's worth. Maybe we can get a few bucks out of it. The Atari joystick stand, that's kind of interesting. I don't know what those are worth, but I think we're going to do okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through all of this stuff, take it all apart, clean it all up, and then test everything, and then we'll throw it on eBay and see how we come out. Stay tuned to see. The 4-switch Atari 2600 sold on eBay for $119.77. After all the fees and taxes, we made $84.76. The Atari 2600 Junior sold on eBay for $96.30. After all the fees and taxes, we made $69.48. The first Light Sixer Atari 2600 sold on eBay for $112.16. After the taxes and fees, we were left with $75.85. The second Atari 2600 Light Sixer sold on eBay for $117.70. After the taxes and fees, we received $78.23. The Texas Instruments joysticks sold on eBay for $16.52. After all the taxes and fees, we made $7.18. While we did pretty good on eBay, what we didn't do too great on was restoring the Light Sixers. And that's because there was a number of issues with both of them that involved chips, regulators, capacitors, and their power supplies ended up being bad as well. We ended up reaching out to a company called Console 5 and getting all the parts we needed. Now, I had never purchased anything from Console 5 prior to this. However, it was very easy to do business with them and order the parts we needed. They have kits for capacitors, regulators, different things, and that's what we did to get the parts we needed. At first, I didn't know for sure what was wrong with the consoles. Both of the power jacks were loose, so I ended up changing them out. I checked the regulator, I still didn't have enough power in those, so I changed those out to get that fixed. And then I got to the point to where the console would power on, but the fire button wouldn't work. After a little bit of research, I found out that there's a chip that goes bad on these that will make you not be able to use the power button. Or the fire button rather. So what I did was I purchased those parts from Console 5, replaced them, and then everything worked great. Now there was a good bit of back and forth with me and the consoles and trying to get all this stuff sorted out, but we finally got it fixed and we were able to sell it. Having taken all that into consideration, we ended up paying a total of $57.64 to Console 5 for the power adapters, the capacitor kits that come with regulators, the chips, and the power jacks. We know that we had initially paid $55 for all of this stuff, so the total came out to $112.64. Now we'll take a look at what all we sold compared to that and see how we did. Alright you guys, let's take a look at this and see how we came out overall. We know that we sold the 4-switch Atari and we got $84.76 for that. The 2600 Junior we made $69.48 on. The first Light Sixer console we made $75.85. The second Light Sixer console we made $78.23. And on the Texas Instruments joysticks we made $7.18, which brings us to a total of $315.15. When you take into consideration the $55 that we paid initially for everything, plus the $57.64 that we paid to Console 5, which was a total of $112.64, that means that our overall profit for this auction was $202.51. Now I think that's pretty good. We did have to put a lot of work into cleaning everything, testing everything, working on the consoles, but overall we had a decent time doing it. We were able to save these consoles, keep them from going into the trash, and we were able to make us a little profit too.
Keep gaming.